Good to have you here on this Thursday. Vince is here, obviously.
I am 2 for 2.
Yeah, for 2 days in a row. It's me blasting myself out.
I wish Kevin could do that all day long in his house. Welcome in. Turn it off.
Sound like the PA announcer at a stadium or something.
You want to do it again?
No, we don't have to. We're good. We're good. We're good. Here we
go. You ready? You ready?
It's 3 and out. How about that? On this Thursday. So much to get to. Arnold Harrison going to join us. Former Georgia Bulldog, Super Bowl champion. We'll actually have a couple Super Bowl champions on the show today. We'll talk with Arnold Harrison.
You want to do it again? Hold on.
You need to start over? I can't. I don't know what's the problem this
Hold on. Here we go. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it again. Whatever.
Deep breath. You good?
Yeah, let's do it.
Here we go. 3, 2.
Chris Canty will join us. He is one of the Super Bowl champions that will join us. Also, Arnold Harrison will join us in the final hour, also a Super Bowl champion. We'll obviously have a lot to talk about with the Super Bowl, Major League Baseball. We've heard from Rob Manfred. He actually decided to talk baseball today. We'll get to some of that coming up. And today is the NBA.
Whoa.
What?
The commissioner of baseball decided to talk baseball?
Yeah, sometimes he does.
Holy hell.
Sometimes he just says, hey, I'm out here holding this hunk of metal. That's all
he's a groundhog. You need to stay under earth, on the ground.
So we heard from the commissioner today. We'll talk about that. Also, the NBA, the trade deadline just expired moments ago, and there's been some big ones in the NBA. We'll get to that coming up a little bit later in the show. We'll see if the Hawks are able to squeak anything in there at the deadline as well. But we are just a few days away from the Super Bowl, Ben, and certainly everybody talks about the two quarterbacks, but there's a lot of individual matchups. I know Christian, I've talked to him a number of times. Pretty much any football game you ask Christian about, it's like, oh, I don't care what everybody else is doing. I'm watching the offensive and defensive line. That's the matchup I want to see.
Whoa. Why are you making that sound like a bad thing, Ben?
I'm not. Because I'm trying to lead into a statement here.
99% of football games.
Oh, in the trenches. Every single time. I mean, I know it's kind of like boxing. We watch from the waist up. Boxers watch from the waist down. It's, look, based on the guy who got the better footwork, I can tell you who's winning the fight. But you talk about this game, Kevin. I know we're gonna get into it, but there's a guy. He's a real life Freddy Krueger.
All right, carry on.
I was just trying to say, what is the matchup that Ben is looking for, knowing that, hey, Christian, you always say, I love the trench battles. So that I think in this one, that actually is the battle to watch because one is very good and one has been situationally good. Cincinnati has had moments where they look bad, then they hold the Chiefs to just a couple of pressures in the championship game. And which offensive line is going to show up against those studs for the St. Louis, the LA Rams? Well, I'm having a first segment to remember today.
It's
you want to start over?
No, I don't want to.
It is going to be the trenches, and I think sometimes we do get caught up in the glitz and the glamour. I understand Cooper Kupp, Eli Apple, Odell. I mean, you talk about Jamar Chase and Jalen Ramsey. When you think about T. Higgins, he's going to get the backside cornerback. But Aaron Donald, Lord and those guys, Von Miller and those guys, I do think that because this Cincinnati Bengals offensive line was able to hold up. Well, let me say this. They did a really, really good job against Kansas City because Chris Jones, they wasn't really blocking him that much in the AFC Championship game. The game will be won and lost in the trenches. If Joe Burrow can find a way to he's going to have to improvise on certain plays because number 99, he's coming. Number 40, old Von Miller, he's coming. He's showing that, look, they brought me in to be able to play in games like this. If the trenches can find a way to hold up and Joe Burrow can have time to throw it, because I love Jalen Ramsey. Eric Weddle was on the couch for the last 2 years because he understands that Raheem Morris defense, he can go out there and kind of, be that quarterback, in the secondary. That's gonna make the game good or bad because if number 99 is running rampant, if he's just living in the backfield, I'm sorry, Joe, you ain't never seen nothing like 99. The thing is, this same Bengals team played Kansas City early in the season, so they saw them. They kind of know what they want to do, and Kansas City was winning going into halftime. Cincinnati comes out in the second half and beats them. Kevin, I know we're gonna make it about the kickers. I know we're gonna make it about special teams, the coordinator versus coordinator, and all this. If those five gentlemen in front of Joe Burrow can't handle the force. Gentlemen looking at him, it's not going to, and people gonna get sick of it because the Super Bowl is the one game that you have to notice everything you didn't notice throughout the course of the year. You like wide receivers? That's what I'm looking at during the year. I'm not really looking at the running game. If you like the running game, I'm not really looking outside. If you don't like O-line, D-line play, don't watch the Super Bowl because they're going to be, Jamar Chase sack. They got to find a way to give Joe Burrow, and if Joe Burrow does decide to pull that thing, there's a young man by the name of Ernest Jones who spent most of the year on IR. He is ready, fresh legs, ready to hit everything running. But yes, I would love to give you the sexy answer, but no, it is the O-line versus D-line. That being this Cincinnati team who, you go back to Tennessee. 9 sacks, you still won.
Well, Ben, but if I'm looking at this from an LA standpoint, given that we've seen the best and the worst of the Cincinnati's offensive line play into playoffs, are you taking a gamble on the fact that, hey, I'm going to bring somebody every time, and if I bring 5, you're not going to block my 5 with your 5? Is that a worthwhile gamble to say, hey, if we go hat on a hat, you're not going to beat us because you can't block all 5 of us with 5 guys? It's not going to happen.
Yeah, and if you are Aaron Donald for a second, Aaron Donald gets 2 people every game he's in. Sometimes triple team. If you look at where, but this is what's scary about this game is they're going to move Aaron Donald inside and outside. They're going to put him on the outside. So, they're going to put him on the inside. I think if you are Cincinnati, you are saying, look, offensive line, I got to play the game of my life. And do you sacrifice a Joe Mixon? Do you have to go 6 on 5 on 4? Because you might have to keep those guys and don't just chip these guys. I might have to say, look, you're going to be the extra block on 99, or if Von Miller's going off, you got to go chip him, or Floyd's coming off the edge. This D-line can hurt you, man. And when they get going, it seems like it's 10 of them out there if they get going. But that's the matchup. Everybody was saying, I don't know if 99 that good. He ain't going to get defensive player of the year this year because T.J. Watt got 22.5 sacks. Aaron Donald's had 20 sacks one time. All I'm saying is, yes, Kevin, if you are Cincinnati's offensive line, you ain't getting no sleep because there he is. And the thing is, people always say about Aaron Donald, when he finally run out there on the field, you expected him to be, 6'4", 6'5". They say he barely over 6 feet tall, right? He's 280 pounds, but he's a rock. And you like, him? And then they snap the ball, and you like, who in the world is this? But I will say, if Cincinnati's offensive line can have a repeat performance like they did in the AFC Championship game, oh my goodness. Now we talk about something because, yes, I do think that, Kevin, the age-old question that hasn't been solved all year, are you going to cover Cooper Kupp one-on-one? Because that's not a winning recipe. Eli Apple going to have a lot to deal with come this weekend, and Bengals cornerback. But yeah, I still think it comes down to Cincinnati can find a way to get a game plan because every play they don't give up sacks, that's confidence building. Okay, what's going to be our best? Are we sliding our protect to the left, sliding to the right? Are we leaving in the back? Are we leaving in the tight end to kind of help? Because I do believe Higgins and company, Chase and those guys. I love Jalen Ramsey. I give you Mike Evans. Mike Evans, is not Jamar Chase. Very, very good receiver, by the way. He ran right by Jalen Ramsey. And the thing is, if you give Jamar Chase time to go out there and run his routes, I love you, Jalen. I'm looking forward to that matchup. So, yes, O-line versus D-line, that's going to be the matchup. And I said to say this, who knows? It could end up being the D-line of Cincinnati versus the O-line, of the Rams. So who knows? But I do think whatever team has the better performance in the trenches, they got a better shot of winning this thing.
I was going to say, it seems like for all the talk, we haven't given Cincinnati's defense a whole lot of credit. They kept the Chiefs kind of under wrap. They did a solid job, came up with a big play against the Titans to help them win that football game. It seems like we're not giving a whole lot of credit to that Cincinnati defense, just saying, all right, Bengals, you're not going to be able to cover everybody for this Rams team, and Matt Stafford could potentially pick you apart. Are we selling that Bengals defense short going into the Super Bowl?
We are, because it's all about the offense. Let's face it. When it comes to Cincinnati, the first thing we think of Joe Burrow, think of Jamar Chase, think of Higgins, think of Mixon. We don't think of that defense, but this is the same defense that held Kansas City to 3 points in the second half at home. So I do think Hendrickson and those guys and company, if they start getting at you now look, they are relentless. They don't. Now Hendrickson is one of the best pass rushers in the league, man. He's not ever going to be put in the category as the T.J. Watt, as the Bosa's, and guys of that nature, but double-digit sack guy. and he has a motor. Let me tell you something. Anytime you see a football player that don't wear gloves, that's a football player. This man does not wear gloves. I want to put my hands on you. I want to
Do you
feel
wear
it.
gloves?
Yeah, I wear gloves. I'm not
just
that.
saying. But I just want to make sure I get that on the record.
But all the guys I played, all the guys I played with that didn't wear gloves, man. Look, these guys, they hands feel like bricks. Listen, I show you what I make my money with. Could that be the unsung heroes, Kevin? We seem to make it so much about, obviously, Aaron Donald and company, the offensive line for Cincinnati. Could this Cincinnati D-line start having this way? Because the thing about Matthew Stafford that we do know, if he does get happy feet, even if he got Cooper Kupp, even if he got Odell Beckham and those guys, does he start doing things unorthodox? Because let's face it, people are going to be trying to make unorthodox plays because there is no tomorrow. Could be walking out this thing saying, hey, man, the D-line of Cincinnati upstage the D-line of the Rams.
And that would be quite the storyline, obviously, coming out of the Super Bowl, something that not a lot of people are talking about here, heading into that football game coming up on Sunday. So much to get to here on the show, including Chris Canty, Arnold Harrison, and they will both join us here on 3 and Out. We're talking Super Bowl with them. It is the NBA trade deadline, but Rob Manfred got up in front of reporters today and answered some questions about where baseball is here with spring training, at least in theory, set to start next week. I don't think anybody believes that's going to happen, but what did Rob Manfred have to say today, talking a little baseball with the press earlier today? It's 3 and Out all across the Southern Pigskin Radio Network. Good to have you here, 3 and Out on this Thursday. Kevin Thomas, Ben Troop, glad you are with us. Thanks for making us a part of your day. We're streaming live, ESPNCoastal.com, and live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. And you can join us there and keep track of the show. We heard from Rob Manfred. Pitchers and catchers normally set to report next week, like midweek, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. I don't think that's going to happen, but Rob Manfred out there meeting in front of the media today, Ben, saying the owners have agreed to a universal DH, which I think that was probably a no-brainer. That's a box that I don't think anybody was worried about a lot of squabbles over. I mean, there are traditionalists who don't like it. I'm, one of them. I really don't. I think it takes some of the strategy out and changes the way the game is played. But the owner said, hey, we agree to that, and also removing draft pick compensation. And for people who are like, what is that? Well, let's just say a team has a player who is on an expiring contract. He gets a qualifying offer from another team. He accepts that offer. You get a draft pick as compensation for losing said player. Thusly, teams like the Pirates and the Orioles and teams like that, hey, I have a good player up for contract. We gave him an offer. Another team gave him an offer, and he left. All right, well, we get compensation for that, i.e., we don't need to compete. We're going to get compensation in a younger player to come in our system rather than, pay somebody to stay and play. So apparently the owners are cool with that. He said he's not worried about the season starting on time. Of course, what else would you expect him to say? And that the owners and players association, who are set to have a meeting coming up on Saturday, the owners will give a proposal to the players association on Saturday. Ben, of course, that was a big bone of contention. The owners rejected the players' last offer for it and said they were going to give a counteroffer, then did not, and said, well, how about mediation? So apparently they're going to give an offer on Saturday. Rob Manfred saying, hey, not worried about the season starting on time, which would be March 31st. Said, look, we really just need about 4 weeks before we're ready to play baseball. And obviously, if you get a deal done within the next week or two, you can still start in the early portion of March with spring training and be ready to go by the end of the month.
Kevin, usually in the situation to where when the commissioner has to come up and speak for the league, you say, hey, man, bravo, league. No, not MLB. When you see Rob Manfred, bring out the smoke signals. All hell has officially broke loose. Why? Just look at his enthusiasm or lack thereof. The most lackluster. And think about this. The owners was like, hey, dude, we got to send him out there. Oh, but look at him. I know, but we got to send him out. We're not. We think we're going to start on time. Based off of what? Like, we've been reading the news. We can see that not only they want to do mediation, they wanted to not talk to them so bad. They wanted a third party to come in. So we can't talk to you directly. No, you're going to send in the middleman? Not doing it. Then, yeah, I think we just need 4 weeks. Well, we don't know what you need, but I guarantee you right now, the fact that, catches and, pitchers, they're not showing up. There isn't anything. And universal DH, okay, everybody kind of knew that was coming. That was coming. But this is the thing about it is, Kevin, you start saying the fact that, look, I get that now. In his defense, he has a show. He can't really go out there.
But he kind of can. But anyway, I'll get it.
He can't really show. But that's what I'm saying. There's one, I can show emotion without being emotional. I can do that. He doesn't show anything. And people are like, give us something, Rob. We'll be fine. No. You were the same guy because of a rule that's built into the bylaws. You saved baseball in a sense a couple of years ago. You didn't really do anything. You had nothing to do with it. They played 50 games. They couldn't come to an agreement then. So now all of a sudden, we're supposed to think that you, of all people, you are the absolute worst commissioner in sports. I get it. But Kevin, what gives you if you are a casual baseball fan, if you love baseball, you just want to watch baseball, if you're watching Rob Manfred today, you thinking, dude, it might be a while, because this is a representation of the owners. So just imagine if you are Mike Trout and Harper and so on and so forth, and that's who you talking to. Man, get out of here with that. I do hope that maybe something behind the scenes is happening, that they're going to give an offer this weekend, probably going to be denied, because, if you're announcing when you're going to give the offer, we haven't seen anything, and the arbitrators, obviously, they said they're not going to do that. We will see, but Kevin, does it give you any type of
no?
I don't know. Does it give you any type of motivation to think that baseball is going to do anything, but the thing going to go on a little while?
No, I think that it's look. Rob Manfred is doing what he's paid to do, and people said the same thing about Roger Goodell. Rob Manfred is carrying the water for the MLB owners. a lot of whom you say, well, who is it? I mean, a conglomeration owns the Braves, Liberty Media. So who the heck is that? Oh, Liberty Media owns Braves. Yeah, but who's the person? Nobody knows. But Rob Manfred coming out and saying, hey, I feel good about a deal, Ben. Well, what do you expect him to say?
Mm-hmm.
No, we really feel like this one's going to suck and it's not going to get done. Like everything. And I would say that Major League Baseball, the players have said the same thing. Hey, we're going to put together a proposal. We think it's great. We think it's going to get a deal done. Blah, blah, things of that nature. Every side wants to say our deal, our proposal is the best it's ever been. And if it gets rejected, well, that's not on us. It was fair. It's on the other side. I think you get a lot of that going, and it's not necessarily good for anybody. But I do think, and we've talked about this, Rob Manfred has not done a good job in representing baseball, the game. I don't think, period. Much less you worry about him being kind of the representation for Major League Baseball and the owners. I mean, Ben, for as much as he said, look, I'm not worried about spring training. Started on time. This is also the same guy that in the press conference today, somebody asked him a question, and his response was, hey, I think it's been proven over the long haul that owning an MLB team is not necessarily a better financial investment than the stock market. Like, what are you talking about? Like, and I asked you this, man. I was like, who does this? Like, you are representing the league. Hey, it's healthy. It's vibrant. We're growing. We're trying to do things. Well, owning a team is not necessarily a better investment than the stock market. Rob, who are you lying to? Like nobody believes this crap. Like, yes. You look at the valuation of every single team. I don't care if you're talking about the Miami Marlins. The Miami Marlins might be the worst run franchise in Major League Baseball up until a couple years ago. The group that with Derek Jeter that came in and got a part of the ownership group, they bought in at a valuation of like $1 billion. That's the worst team. Mm-hmm. How are you going to say that owning a team is not lucrative, or is at least less lucrative than the stock market? Come on, man.
Yeah, I mean, you are. Wait a minute. It's just 30 MLB teams, right? 30.
Yeah.
So once again, somebody go, I mean, what do you do for a living? I own a team.
So this is something that's also been put out there by Major League Baseball because, much like everything else you want to expand, the talk of adding 2 teams. Now, I don't know how serious that is right now, but there's been talk of expanding Major League Baseball by 2 teams. Well, if you listen to the commissioner, you should have a hard time finding people that want to own a team because, well, you could probably make more money elsewhere. Ben, you know this. Owners own a team to do what?
Make cheese.
Make money. And you can say, oh, Jerry Jones owns the Cowboys because that's fun money. It is, but he still didn't buy it to lose money. So I think, and guys like Arthur Blank, these are smart people. Liberty Media, of all things you criticize it for, man, they run the Braves like a balance sheet. Yeah. So that they didn't buy the Braves if they thought they could go to their shareholders and say, we feel it's better to invest our money in something else, and we can have great returns versus owning a baseball team. Do you think they'd own a baseball team? No. So don't come out here and lie and say it's not as profitable to run a baseball team. It is. Somebody put it up on Twitter. They looked at the Braves financials because Liberty Media being a publicly owned company, which it is, you can see their financials, unlike a lot of other teams if they're owned by individuals, et cetera. And they said, on average, outside of 2020, the COVID year, the Braves make money. Mm-hmm. They said the average home game for the Atlanta Braves is the equivalent of about $6.5 million. So when you have a home game at Truist Park, that's worth about $6.5 million after you pay for stuff, staff, all that to run a game. You're left with about $1 million on the top, which is pretty good. That's pretty good. Times 80, that times 82. Oh. So I think you look at some of this and you say the owners can't necessarily cry poor here, but you can't have Rob Manfred going out saying like you shouldn't own a team because it's not a good fight. Like, come on, man, you're the commissioner of the league. It should be the best investment that's out there.
It is, and no. Not only is it the best investment, it's one of the most rarest investments you ever gonna have. Like, think about that. Hey, man, what do? I always see you at the stadium, man. I don't never really see you. Yeah, I own this thing, man. What?
Me and 29 other guys.
You say Derek Jeter. Yes, Derek Jeter, all-time great Yankee. He bought the Miami Marlins to lose money. Who was Derek Jeter's best friend? Oh, that would be Alex Rodriguez. He's now owns the Minnesota Timberwolves. He showed him how to do it. Why? Because usually when you own, in MLB franchises, that's forever. Like, yes. I'm just saying it's not, hey, man, what are you going to do? Man, I'm thinking about selling a team. To who? For what? Like, that's something. And think about this. Most of us, we've owned things like, a car or something. But when you get a chance to sell it, regardless of what you sell it for, everything comes through you. This is mine. I will decide what I agree with as far as like the terms. When you start saying it's a bad investment, it's like, man, for be forgetting, dude, you know who you represent, right? You're like, what are you
trying to frame it like the owners aren't making this much money and that, hey, we'll make some concessions.
Like Magic Johnson, who owns a part of the Dodgers.
Right. Magic Johnson's making that cheese.
Do Magic Johnson like baseball? Yes and no. Yes, because he loved the Dodgers. I mean, so I just think that sometimes, Kevin, it's like this. If that's what I'm saying, if you are in that room, you're saying,
but you're blatantly putting out statements in front of the public that are not true. Like that's not true.
Or here's the thing too, you're not even talking to the public. You're talking to the media, who's like, dude, what are you talking? So let me get this straight. So if they're not making money, why is your salary going up? Like it's not going down.
Yeah.
Why are you showing up to the world saying, hey man, these two teams, the Astros and the Braves, man, they got the sucked on these teams. I think it's crazy. I think now Liberty Media, they're gonna do things a little bit different, Kevin. But like you said, look, man, maybe like you said, who would have ever thought 100-some games or all them home games, they averaging $1 million. After they pay everything, we still got, man, and that's just the game. I mean, that's after we pay then the Braves, defend the World Series champs. Man, all I'm saying is, like I said, there are certain commissioners, when they walk out, if you see him, look for the groundhog. Because I'm just telling you, you don't see this man. And this is the reason why, Kevin, because Kevin, it's almost like, listen, I don't even know. It's just that you are the assistant commissioner. I don't know if that's even a thing. And you say, Kevin, he's about to walk out. Oh my God. And you look at him and say, don't go off script. Because when you said that about owning the MLB, that is off script. That is nonsense. Most people won't even be able to even be considered to even own a team. But last time I checked, I don't see nobody selling no team.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't, I know the Denver Broncos and NFL's coming up.
That guy's going to make a grip. So, I mean, it's one of those things where it's just, I can't believe a commissioner put it out there that owning a team is a less profitable venture than just putting money in the stock market. Because, again, that's obviously not the case. And you're flat lying to everybody out there. These guys are making cash. These guys are making money. Figure it out at the negotiating table and let's get to baseball, because there's going to be a wild chase here to the start of the baseball season. I was reading somebody else put this out there, Ben. From the moment a deal gets signed, this is what has to happen before you can get to the regular season. Obviously, you have pitchers and all the players have to report. You still have 600, or I think you have over 600 free agents who are, and one of them being Freddie Freeman. So you got a couple of guys who are going to get big money deals who are free agents. 600 of them are going to have to get done in the span of a couple of weeks. You can do trades, obviously, inside the span. There's arbitration that has to get done in Major League Baseball. So there's a lot that's going to happen in the span of a couple of weeks. If Major League Baseball, from a PR standpoint, does this right, they're going to be in the news a lot, because you'll have a Freddie Freeman. You have big name guys getting deals in a really short amount of time. Could be the Wild West financially out there for a couple weeks leading up to the start of the season. But yeah, Rob Manfred, why anybody has any faith that you say there's going to be good progress this weekend, I don't know.
Or the fact that, think about how many times, every time, you got to run him out there out of, he's the one that got, he's the one that got that they selected to be the commissioner out of all the other candidates. Which, I mean, I'm not blaming, but you know how it is, Kevin. It's like every time Rob Manfred come out, you start saying to yourself, he always has a wild moment. Like, what are you talking? Like, what are you talking about? No, if me, Kevin, if me, you, Christian, BJ, if we some kind of way we hit the lottery, like we won buku bucks, like we all won, I don't know, $700-800 million a piece, and we say, hey, dude, hey, because we're gonna blow a lot of this money. Before we blow it all, how about we see how much it costs to buy, I don't know, part ownership of the break. We could be the minority owners. Yes. 49%, they the 51%. I think we'll be like, all right, how much it's gonna cost us, like, I don't know what, $900 million, I don't know. We come up with it. That's forever. Listen, if we do nothing else, like, what you mean? We hire people to manage it. That's ours. We got keys. We got man, Rob, come on, man, with the nonsense, man. I know he tried to say something to get us off but come on, man, you can say something other than that.
Yeah, we got more to come. Looking at these commissioners, it's been an interesting couple of weeks for commissioners. We'll get to that when we return. Here is 3 and Out, Southern Pigskin Radio Network. Good to have you back here, 3 and Out. Kevin Thomas, Ben Troop, glad you're making us a part of your day. We're streaming live, ESPNCoastal.com as well, and on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Christian Gokel is here as well because he's pouting about me not saying his name. It's fine.
I'm here too.
You are here.
I'm with the people as well.
I'll ask you again at 4:35 how you're doing.
That's the response you'll get.
Fair enough.
That's the
right.
response you'll get.
So, a lot going on, obviously, with the Super Bowl, with the NBA trade deadline, and we just talked about Major League Baseball. Of course, there been, but you look at the commissioner. We've kind of poked fun at Rob Manfred there, but who's under more scrutiny here the last couple of weeks? Rob Manfred, because you won't meet with the players, things of that nature, or Roger Goodell. Both have their own issues. I haven't heard Roger Goodell say, hey, it's a better investment to go in the stock market than owning an NFL team. Haven't heard him say that. But who's having the most scrutiny placed on him here as a commissioner of these sports leagues?
It's always going to be Roger Goodell, because Roger Goodell, you actually know him. He's actually active. He talks a lot, and he seems to stay on task. But, I mean, the NFL, I mean, let's just call it what it is. I mean, I know it's all about the Super Bowl. Jim Trotter, I think, asked him yesterday about their slogan, about, inclusivity and diversity and all these different things. Roger Goodell understands that, look, man, I am the in-between between the players and the owners. And sometimes I'm just a talking piece, man. I got to come out there and say what the owners told me to say. But Roger Goodell gives off the perception that he has more power than he has. Because people are like, man, Roger. But Roger's active. Like, Roger be at games, and you know him when you see him. You know Rob Manfred when you see him. You know who he is. I just think that Roger Goodell, at a certain point, Kevin, you ask yourself, dude, like, what do you actually do? Like, I understand that you're the face. You are hired by the owners. You make a lot of freaking money. But we start saying to ourselves, are you just a mouthpiece? Like, can we actually give you, like, can I ask, are you the manager? Or are you the guy that knows the manager? Like, what do we do? But it's always NFL, Kevin, because this is the number one sport in America. This is the most polarizing sport in America. I mean, I think to think about now. I'm not saying Rob Manfred ain't under no scrutiny, because he is, because he's going to be blamed, and I think the reason why he's going to be blamed this time, because he kind of saved it.
But I mean,
last
time. I actually think it's not Roger Goodell. It's Rob Manfred, because Roger Goodell, for love him, hate him, he gets booed at the draft. He kind of plays into that, where he's like, steps out there at the draft. Hey, we're the number one pick. Is that all you got?
Exactly.
Is that all you got? Because I think at the end of the day, he knows, look, love me or hate me, I'm out here to push the game and push the product, and we're doing that. And we're making money hand over fist. The owners know we're making money hand over fist. You don't have labor problems at this point. Do you not have any problems? No, I think you do have problems. Every league has problems, and certainly Roger Goodell with equity and inclusion and things of that nature, that is something that has been firmly put on him as the face of the owners. I mean, Roger Goodell does no hiring and no firing, unless it's probably with some positions there in the league office. But he's going to answer for all 32 owners when it comes to who they hire and who they're putting in position in their franchises a lot of times. And so he comes under some of those scrutiny. To me, and he's very polished at doing that. Like, and people can say, oh, Roger Goodell out there saying the same old thing, we got to do better. Well, what is he supposed to say? That's what he's supposed to say, to not say, hey, it's a better investment to go in the stock market than owning an NFL team. No, Rob Manfred continuously steps in it as a commissioner. It's just a hunk of metal. What? If you ever heard Roger Goodell, I was saying, if you ever heard Roger Goodell step out here and go, man, that Lombardi trophy, I don't know what y'all are so worked up about, man. It's just a piece of metal that looks like a football. Like, no, that's like the culmination of your sport. Like, to me, Rob Manfred says stuff like that, where you sit back and go, this doesn't make any sense. You actively say things that act like you don't support your own game.
Yep.
Roger Goodell's out there going, this is the best game ever. Does it have problems? I mean, it doesn't matter what's happening. Hey, we're the best league. Rob Manfred said it's a hunk of metal. Rob Manfred said, statistically, it's a better investment to be in the stock market. He's done things that don't make sense for the good of the game. Hey, we'll just put guys out on second base in the 10th inning. What are you doing? Like, nobody asked for that. You just did it. So I think of all the commissioners, to me, and I know I'm a baseball guy, you're a football guy, but to me, I look at Roger Goodell and say, does the NFL have issues? Of course they do.
Mm-hmm.
You have a more polished commissioner, though, in Roger Goodell,
Yes.
who is able to deliver the message, not say something stupid, than you do on the Major League Baseball. So I'm just being for real.
I mean, even to touch on that, is it because of Rob Manfred, Kevin? Like you say, you go, that's just a hunk of metal. You say to yourself, like, how? This is really like the thing about Rob Manfred. He's tone deaf. Like you be like, dude, like you know why you out here, right? You just call it a hunk of metal. You like this because think about it. Think about if you're in the media, you're in that room. Like, dude, you messing up my talking points. I want to ask you certain stuff, and then you say stuff. I'm like, what do you mean by that? Roger Goodell, Roger Goodell, you know, he understands. Look, man, I have embraced being the villain, and I think that's the thing. I think Rob Manfred, he doesn't know how he's perceived because you don't see him that much, and when you do see him, it's almost like he's saying, "Let me say something crazy to kind of like make them think, you know, get them off task." Yeah, dude, but what you saying don't make no sense. And it's always gonna be Roger Goodell. And I think it's like Roger Goodell, like, dude, when everything is going good, it's almost like the press conference ain't the same. I'm looking forward to, because in a sense, that's what my bosses are paying me for. They paying me, how do you handle these hard questions? Because we ain't gonna answer them. We pay you to deal with it. And he deals with it well. And he doesn't try to hide from it now. Can Roger Goodell get to saying some stuff that don't listen? I mean, the art of the filibuster. Oh my God! I mean, sometimes he's saying a whole bunch of nothing. But I think it's always going to be Roger Goodell, Kevin, because you know you talk about growing the game, you talk about the popularity of the game is at an all-time high. You look at what certain players are doing. But if your slogan is, you know, we serve breakfast all day, and I come get some breakfast. Oh, we ain't got no breakfast. Like, you know, it's like what it's like. So I think I think it's more or less like saying one thing with your slogan and kind of showing something different in real time. Which Roger Goodell said, "Listen, man, I got as much control over these owners as these players do. I can't make them budge, but I think it's always going to be Roger Goodell. I think you know when he took over for Paul Tagliabue, I mean he has helped take the game to some crazy levels." And I think you almost expect him to kind of deal with it. It's like, all right, here come Roger Goodell. Just happens to be around Super Bowl time. So he like, hey, man, I'll take all the publicity. Because Rob Manfred, I just sometimes I'd be like, do you know who you are, right? Like, yeah, you are the commissioner of baseball. Telling people it's not good, it's better, bad investment. Like, what are you talking about?
At your core, you are, I mean, again, that's not what you're hired for, but at the core, you are the face of the league. And by the league, I mean the game, right? You are out there to work for the owners, but your number one job is to put a positive spin on the game, right? And I know you're in a labor negotiation and things of that nature. You're trying to frame it where it's the players who aren't going to accept whatever y'all put out there on Saturday. And you said, hey, we've already made some concessions, DH, you know, which again, the DH, I hate it, but that is, come on, in the grand scheme of things, that is a minor concession. Like everybody already knew that was going to be a thing. So I think you're trying to frame the issue, but to come out and be like, you know, like we're out here really struggling, man. It's like, no, you're not. Are you making as much as you would have liked? Maybe not, but you're still making more. You are
definitely not in the red.
Yeah,
you're not operating in the red.
You are still making more than a regular investment in the stock market over the same time. Like, do not kid yourselves about that. So just one of those things where it's like, it seems like Gary Bettman used to be the guy with the NHL. People are like, man, Gary Bettman might be the worst commissioner out there. He's got a game. You got hockey on the Golf Channel. It's like, what are you doing to grow that sport? Now hockey's kind of come back around. And I think Rob Manfred has taken his place. You don't hear anybody talking about how bad hockey is or anything like that. I mean, Adam Silver might be the least controversial amongst the players and owners, commissioner that we've seen. Adam Silver seems to be pretty straightforward, doing this and that. Roger Goodell, I'll embrace the hate, but we got the best game, and I'm gonna beat my chest about that. Rob Manfred, I was like, I've not seen a commissioner that comes out and not belittles the game, but just doesn't talk it up and just kind of downplays everything around the game. And you're like, what are you doing? Like, what are you like for all of his faults? Like, people look at Bud Selig and they'll say, Bud, man, you let an all-star game end in a tie. Bud Selig was an owner of a team that became the commissioner of baseball. The owners put him in there to be the commissioner of baseball. Was he the best? Maybe not. But the dude loved the game of baseball and was doing things to try to encourage that growth. Now, you could say maybe he turned a blind eye while they were hitting bombs and juicing up out of their brains. Okay. But he also tried to clean some of that up at the end of the day. Maybe he was complicit and cleaned it up at the end of the day. I think he did some good things to help the game. I don't know that Rob Manfred helps the game of baseball at all, at any turn. We got to step aside. We got more to come here. It's 3 and Out, all across the Southern Pigskin Radio Network. Good to have you back here, 3 and Out on this Thursday. Kevin Thomas, Ben Troop. Glad you are with us. Reminder coming up tomorrow, we'll have our big Valentine's Day giveaway just in time for Valentine's. So 5 o'clock tomorrow, Christian Goodell tells me we're going to give it away here on the show. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, Kevin. Tomorrow at 5 o'clock, we're gonna give it away.
That inside and more, Christian Goodell.
No, I'm excited. Come on,
yeah.
We
No,
got.
I will say no, Christian. I mean, Christian. I'm not going. Spoil the festivities tomorrow. But fellas, man, I will say this: y'all have come out, in waves. Y'all trying to get that swag back. But I will tell you this: if you do indeed win, I don't know if that puts pressure on us moving forward at Valentine's to come up with something better. But if you do win, man, congratulations to all the all the participants that called in. The
Absolutely.
list is very, very long.
So we had some finalists, and we called them, and we had them read, or I should say read,
It reads.
speak,
Yes.
and tell us about how they met their significant other.
Oh,
Now, some people just came on here, was like straight up, sorry at Target. She saw me at Target, you know the deal. And then some guys were like,
Did you meet in that dollar aisle?
well, another guy, I don't know if they have a dollar aisle at Target.
They do. No. Okay, look, you're not married, so it doesn't count, Christian.
Wait, why
when
do I
you-
have to be married to know about?
Because you are
I will
man,
mute
and
you.
and
I will
you will go
mute
into
you.
Target, and you're like, I'm here for this. Beeline to it, and get out. That's how I do it.
There's no
But you go-
dollar.
Yes, there is.
There's not
when you go into Target, right there when you first walk in, they got 2 or 3 little mini aisles. It's all the like special little knick-knack things that are people. My wife gets stuff out of there all the
But
time.
it's not a dollar.
Yo, some of it is.
But it's not
A
a
lot
dollar
of it
aisle.
is. Well, that's what I call it.
That's not the argument.
It's the knick-knack aisle.
That's not the argument. You said there's a dollar aisle like the damn Dollar Tree at Target.
All I'm saying is, I mean, look.
A lot of it is. Go in there and
I will
check
say
it out.
Okay, the Falcons have a Super Bowl, according to me. Like, per me, the Falcons have a Super Bowl. See how that doesn't work because it's not true?
No, it is true.
The Falcons have a Super Bowl?
No,
Okay.
there's stuff.
It
There's
depends on
huge
what
dollar
Falcons.
aisle there as you walk in front of the Target.
I know this, fellas. If you don't win, I'm just saying, I'm rooting for everybody. Be prepared to get on out there and do what you plan B will be in full effect.
Oh no!
if you don't win it.
You think there's somebody out there that's just banking on this?
Yeah, of course, absolutely.
Oh no!
I mean, why would I put? Look, I said I got
Why
good
not?
shot as any. I mean, like we've had people
Don't.
call back. No, we've had
If
people.
we have not called you by now,
No.
No, we've had people that called in multiple times. Like, can I enter in more than once? No, we already got you, sir. We got your name, we got your number. We'll let you know. We hope they win it, but if Plan B is in full effect, I mean, the weekend is upon us after tomorrow.
if you're already looking, or if you're just now starting to look for reservations,
Thank you. I got okay. From my wife at the Target, she said, "quote It used to be called the dollar spot." Thank you very much.
Amy, I love you. You're wrong. You're wrong. There's no
She's
dollar
not
aisle at
wrong.
Target. There's no dollar aisle at Target. We have 5 seconds.
Grow up, bro. I'm not. You're gonna tell me I'm wrong? Come on. Hour 2 here on 3 and Out. Kevin Thomas, Ben Troop, glad you're making this a part of your day. We'll hear from Chris Canty, Super Bowl winning defensive end with the New York Giants, now ESPN radio personality. You can hear him each and every day here on ESPN radio. He will join us, and we will talk Super Bowl with him coming up this hour. Also in the final hour, Arnold Harrison, former Georgia Bulldogs Super Bowl champ with the Steelers. He will hop in here on 3 and Out. We're talking Super Bowl with him as well. But first, fellas,
do you want to talk about it first of all? Do you want to talk about it?
I think this is just going to go down a rabbit hole if neither one of us was wrong and neither one of us
No, I will say
right
this.
either.
I will say this. You were technically correct. There's
Thank
some
you.
sort of weird thing, and I don't even know because I couldn't find anything where Target actually officially listed as this, but there's some sort of weird cult called the Dollar Spot. And I think that's what Amy said. So I'll say
Yeah.
Amy's right because you called it an aisle. You're still wrong. But I went to the crazycouponlady.com.
Is that a thing?
And she had a list.
Is that really a thing?
She had a list of the best items you can buy in the quote dollar spot. Here's the problem, Kevin. Everything was $5. So
All right,
I'm
fair
sorry.
enough.
I'm sorry. There technically is a dollar spot at
You're right,
Target
yeah.
that doesn't have anything for sale for $1.
That's
But,
not
all right,
true. They do have some.
Carry on.
All right, take 3. Here we go. You want to read the questions? Or
I mean, I
you
guess.
just want to chastise me for the rest of the segment.
I'm pissed off about take 3, but
It's fine.
we're gonna get to that.
Go ahead.
We're gonna get to that. All right, take 1. With the universal DH getting approved, and you guys all better answer this correctly.
Yes.
Are you gonna miss pitchers hitting?
No.
What?
Come on. No.
Come
No.
on.
Because this is the problem. I don't want to butcher his name. What's the old boy name for the Angels?
Shohei.
Shohei Ohtani?
That's the problem. He's an outlier. He's about as big of an outlier you ever gonna see in your life. Like I don't think he could do anything. If he played catcher, he'll probably be the best catcher in baseball. No, now. Are there pitchers that can hit? Yeah, but once again, it's still a rarity. Like, are they just hacking at that thing because they have to go out there? Or, Kevin, is it one of those things where Kevin goes, let's just call it what it really is. Kevin goes, listen, all I had left, I got to deal with the fact that David Ortiz is the only freaking guy to go to the MLB Hall of Fame, right?
He's not the only guy.
He has promoted laziness. Let's just call it what it is, right? Now, my good old National League, all I had left, you took it from me. You took it. So, no, I mean, and I think the pitchers like, look, man, I did it because I had to do it, not because I wanted to do it. I'm not going to miss it. Even though, some of those guys are, do have pretty good plate appearance.
Of course, I'm going to miss it. There's again, there are certain things that are devastating in sports, like when an offensive lineman catches a touchdown pass on you, like that hurts. Like when the 12th guy on the bench in basketball comes off and just starts knocking down threes like Steph Curry, that hurts. In Major League Baseball, when Max Fried steps in and just rakes one to the fence, that hurts because you were banking on it being an out. You were sitting there, oh, we got it. Crunch, double in the gap. Max Fried just took your soul. I enjoy it. Plus, I think from a strategy standpoint, if we're going to do this universal DH, I mean, if the players want to be real, I can probably get by with 10 position players. I don't need a bench. Give me a backup catcher, and I'm good. Right? Because you're not going to sub. Like in Major League Baseball, in the National League, you double switch. You see guys that come in to pinch hit for the pitcher. Do I take my pitcher out now?
That gets real dangerous all of a sudden if somebody pulls a hammy, though.
Well, I understand that, but my point being is on a day-to-day basis, once you turn in the starting lineup in an American League game, all you're doing is swapping pitchers at that point. That's it. That's all you're doing. And I just think this is something that removes some of the strategy from the game, kind of like the pitcher must face 3 batters kind of thing. Like, I get it. That's part of strategy as well. But I also feel like, look, if you got all these pitchers out there, as a manager, it should be my right when I put them in a game. If I want to use them here for 1 batter and I run out of pitchers, well, that's your fault.
No, I like that one.
So we like the 3 batter minimum?
I do. Nothing was more tedious than watching the guys in the playoffs. Like one guy, and then they switch.
I really hated on MLB The Show, though.
And then they switch. Yeah, that's where they're coming down to. But no, they put one guy out there, and then they switch, with hitters going to be out there, and then they have to switch the pitcher again. You can get that the hell out of here. It takes you like 40 minutes to get one at bat. I'm good.
I like that. But anyway, yeah, I will miss pitchers getting hit because I think there are a few things as devastating in all of sports as the pitcher getting the rope off of you.
Well, now, like, I think.
And you did see some guy, because everybody's like, oh, you want to see a pitcher hit 050? I mean, there's a couple of guys on each team that are actually decent at it. Like Max Fried was hitting over 200. And so it's like, I mean, he's technically hitting better than Johan Camargo.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's like,
Damn, we're taking shots at Johan.
I'm sorry.
Come on.
Trade while the value's high, Johan.
And I know nobody really cares, but I also think this is officially like the end of bunting in baseball too.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that go out the window with that because you have a guy like in the Braves case, and I do think it does add intrigue because if there was no DH, do the Braves bring back Jorge Soler? Do they bring back Ozuna when he comes back in this thing? And they may not bring back Ozuna for other reasons, but I mean, I think there are certain guys you could say you wouldn't be on the roster unless the DH is here. And so I think that changes some of the strategy and how you put together the roster as well. So I will miss it. I'll get over it. Don't sit there and call me a baseball purist crybaby. I'll get over it, but I will miss the pitchers and the strategy.
No. This is what. Look, listen. Kevin is a little league baseball coach. Kevin, but listen, pitchers hit. Okay, I don't want to hear that crap. Now, I'm like, coach. I'm like, coach. I'm good. All right. No. This is MLB. Okay. I'm just saying. No. I will say this. I mean, you knew it was coming, right? As soon as they instituted it, because once again, going back to the pandemic year, I said they're going to keep it in, man. They're going to keep it in. And Kevin, like, I already know. Kevin is not into promoting laziness. Go out there and hit. You're a baseball player. Stop being.
It's going to be funny as hell the first time you have like a season start where you have like a pitcher on the mound and then the next inning, his spot in the rotation comes up and you're like, what are you doing? I'm a pitcher, coach. I don't hit.
I'm sitting on the
bench.
And
then Kevin quits coaching. All right, take two. Are you watching the Winter Olympics?
Oh, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna be one of the ones.
Oh, you and PJ just not watching any.
No.
Not supporting your country.
I don't know. I will say this. I mean, I don't get a bunch of TV watching in these days. Anyway. But if I catch something, Christian, if I catch something intriguing, if it catches my eye, I'm gonna stick to it. I'm not gonna lie. Like I did see the one guy. He used like his friend as a prop. Like he used like his friend as he did some old crazy X Games looking stuff out there. I don't even know how he did that with the backflip. So yes, if I catch something that catches my eye, Kevin and Christian, I will watch it. But to say that I'm, setting my timer, my reminder, hey man, the half pike is coming up tonight. No, I'm not gonna sit here and lie to myself and act like I am doing it. But if I do catch something that catches my eye, I will, stay tuned.
Yeah, I will say I have not been. And again, there's only a few events that I really would like to get into, like short track speed skating. I do like watching the luge and stuff like that, but I can't watch it but for about 10 or 15 minutes. I'm like, okay, I'm good. But no, I haven't been watching. I've been fairly busy away from the office. So we mean it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Plus, I have
you guys are
somebody named Christian and Cody Queen hitting me up saying, "Hey, I need you to get on the Xbox."
2 screens, sir.
I don't have 2 screens.
All right, but that being said, you guys are missing the point here. The point is, you could do a drywall hanging competition.
No.
Right? You have 5 dudes sitting there, and they got their hammer and they got their nails because we're not allowed to use electronics in the drywall hanging competition, right? You got your hammers, your nails, and you got your pieces of drywall, and you got to hang those up clean, mud them, sand them, right? Doesn't sound overly interesting. You slap USA on the front of that, I'm into it. 1,000% watching it, screaming as they're putting it up. Get the level!
This has long been my contention for BJ with like the World Cup.
You gotta put the nails in your mouth.
He's like, do you watch the World? I was like, no, I don't watch soccer at all. And he's like, so do you pull for Team USA? And I'm like, no, I don't, because I don't care if they win or not. Like, I really don't.
It's okay. It's okay to not love America.
No, I do love America, but I just don't. Like I said, if I'm not watching, you can. I don't know if they won or not because I'm not watching.
It's okay to not care about whatever. It's okay to not care about America. It's okay.
If we lost the drywall competition, I'd be like,
Kevin, a lot of people in the world don't care about America.
And you're one of them. About America. I just said
it's okay.
I don't watch soccer. If they win, that's fine. If they don't, whatever. It's like I'm not tied to it just because it says USA on it. I'm not watching it.
It's okay.
Listen, keep in the buck. Look,
I've been on here actually saying this carries across our thing.
Is it mainly
do it to me for the World Baseball Classic, that contrived preseason tournament? Do people like it? Yes. Do I care if America wins? Not necessarily. I've actually said if there's a Braves member on team whatever, I hope that team loses so they can get off that junk and get back to.
If you don't think I'm standing in front of my TV with hands on knees, staring as we prepare for our long jumps, I'm
sure.
For our luge, I'm into it. For our alpine skiing, let's get after it.
Sean White's an American. Come on,
Sean White's an American hero. Curling is one of the most stressful, intense sporting events I've ever watched in my life.
You sweep like nobody's business.
Speed skating. I told PJ this. It's basically NASCAR with knives.
I do like watching that.
I mean, it is.
Like I said, I do enjoy watching.
But curling, though, I mean, these dudes got elite wrist action. What like the quicker picker upper type dudes?
Yeah, no, my guys are out there. My guys are out there gliding on the ice, on the ice in some Dockers.
But they got the whole. No. This is what I don't get though. I mean, it'd be too much wish with this guy right here, man. Growing up, his
it's like golfing and it's like
yeah, but I'm just like, but the one guy got to hold it. Hold it. Oh my God, that just. All right. I mean, so Christian's like, it's USA. You slap USA on it. I'm with
I don't care. I don't care what the event is. It could be I don't care about like food eating competitions, but if you don't think I'm rooting for my guy with USA across his chest, you're out your mind. All right, take 3. This is just such a BS question.
It's not. It's a legitimate. It's an important question that America needs to know.
They don't, because the world does not exist in shades of black and white.
It does on take 3.
It exists in shades of gray. All right.
Take 3 it is.
Shades of gray. Take 2.
Don't fall into the BJ Bennett trap of, well, take a little bit of this, a little bit. No. Pick one.
I'm not going to. But Kevin's making you for some weird reason. Pizza or wings for the Super Bowl.
What?
If you had to pick one for the Super Bowl, what is it?
What is this? Some like lame end of the year elementary school party?
I'll get with
the fruit tray and all that.
I'll get, I don't know, pizza with wings on the top of it. That's what I'm just saying.
Buffalo chicken pizza. Let's go.
I mean, you know what? Look, because God, if I got to pick one,
I think Ben would be like 100% wings.
I will say this. I'll give a quick story, real quick on this. So when I was living in New Jersey, my better half wanted to order pizza for the Super Bowl. So I go, sure you want to do that? Yeah. Got people coming over, go order pizza. I go, you sure you want to order pizza, or do you just want to go to the store and get pizza and we just make it in the oven? No, I'm just going to order it. So, couldn't talk her out of it. I said, all right, let's order some pizza. We ordered about like 10 pizzas. Now, mind you, the Pizza Hut is like down the street from my house. We live on a long street. Down the street. We stay on like 55th Street. It's on like 95th. You got to drive down those blocks. I go down there. I say, I'm just, okay, I'll go get the pizza. This is when Russell Wilson, Legion of Boom, Seattle versus the Broncos.
The game that was over in the first 5 minutes.
And mind you, where I lived at in Jersey, East Rutherford wasn't that far from my house, so I could see MetLife Stadium. Check this out. I'm so close. So I said, all right, man, I'll be back. It's finna get ready. I should be back before, kickoff. I'm inside. This is why I hear, but they had it over his head. Oh, my goodness. I'm like this. How long? The ladies go, it should be about 10 minutes. Should be about 20 minutes. Should be about 30 minutes. Listen, mind you, and I kid you not, I am there. I miss the Super Bowl. I missed the whole thing, waiting on this freaking pizza. And when I finally get the pizza, I finally get back to, to the crib. Everybody goes, dude, where you been? What the hell? What you mean where I been? But for me though, I'm a wing. I love pizza, but I'm a wing guy. I got to pick. I'm going to go with wings because obviously you can get a lot of varieties with pizza, but I'm just saying I could just eat wing. I could just wing after wing after wing after wing. So for me, if I got to pick, sorry, pizza, I love you, but I got to go with wings.
I'm going to go pizza. I love pizza. You guys know me. I like chicken wings, but I'm not one of those that I crave chicken wings. So give me a good pizza for the Super Bowl, and I'm good. I like the.
You're also some kind of weird.
If you're going for volume, in the Super Bowl, make it thin crust, so I don't just load up on dough. Make it a good thin crust pizza for Super Bowl. I'm all about it.
You're also some kind of weird sadist that makes people choose between the two.
Are you going to do this exercise?
No. At your house on Sunday, what's going to be out? Are you making your family choose? Is this what this is?
I'm sure I'm probably going to say there'll be pizza there.
But you're making them choose right now? This is what this is?
Well, if my son had to choose, we'd probably have chicken wings there.
See, why are you making your kids choose? Why
because
can't they have both?
Pay.
Why can't they have both?
If my son's paying the bill, then he can choose whatever we want.
Eli, Rhett, if y'all are listening to this right now,
go get that money out.
No. Eli, Rhett, if you're listening to this right now, and you guys want some chicken wings on Sunday, you guys just tell me, and I will have DoorDash deliver wings to your home, because I don't know what kind of sadistic,
no mom likes
mean kind of father you have, but I care about you, and I love you guys. And I
Mom
want
likes
you to have
chicken
chicken
but
wings
you
on Super Bowl
understand,
Sunday.
If DoorDash pull up with the wings, but they go, oh, we got the wings, and Kevin goes, no. Daddy must check these first. So just let's taste test them. And I had to eat at least 2 from each. Oh, you got different flavors.
But don't again, like people, you have yelled at me a couple times for pulling the dad card. Ben knows what I'm like. If your kids are like ever in a situation where like you really want something to eat, and the kid's like, I want to go over here, and you look
No.
at him, you just go, you paying?
No.
If you're paying, they're like, well, huh? You mean I have to pay? I was like that. Well, somebody's got to pay.
No, I like the little.
If it's going to be daddy,
I like the little girl in the taco shell commercial where they're like, "You want soft shell or hard shell?" And she goes, "Why not both?" Like that's kind of how I feel. All right, Kevin. So if your kids want some damn wings on Super Bowl Sunday, Eli, Rhett, if you're listening to me, reach out.
No,
Send a smoke signal.
I will say this.
I will get y'all some wings.
This is
What flavor y'all like?
This is pre-father Christian. I'm not saying Christian gonna have kids anytime soon. That's not what I'm saying. Christian, whenever you do decide to have children, bring in another, because he's gonna look just like you, because you look just like your dad. You know, this is what's gonna happen. You think you're not trying to do these things, like we're really cool people, but something happens. Kids get to coming at you.
I'm not driving all over
I don't wake up in the morning. This is a problem. We don't wake up in the morning plotting against them. They wake up every day plotting against us. They are trying to do something, but I gotta let them know I shut it down. Not doing it. This is what we're eating. If you're not, as my mom would say, well, listen, we got food. So if you don't eat, that means you're not hungry. Because we got something, it's just not be to your liking. But if you really thinking about doing DoorDash, I'll give you my address. That's what you're doing this weekend. I'll take some.
Yeah,
But Ben, you don't have some sort of maniacal
No.
father.
Yeah, but Kevin, listen.
I don't even know if I should say father.
I'm not looking to be an afternoon with no saying I want to get pizza and then
maybe
go
a
get wings.
warden.
Like I'm not wanting to ride in the car with BJ where I got to go to like 13
Well,
different
Brothers,
places.
God.
So,
Kevin, do you know how many spots you can get wings and pizza from at
I
the same
understand
damn
that.
spot?
I understand that.
Now, the one argument I'll hear is wings are pretty damn expensive right now.
They are. I'm about to say.
But
Have
I
you
will
tried the
say
nuggets?
this. I will say this. For my service industry people, it is not the restaurant's fault. It is those price gouging chicken dealers.
No.
It is
This what we really
not
got
the
to say.
restaurant's
Before
fault.
this segment ends, we really got to say, Christian, are you getting them real wings or this nonsense we be talking about
No,
now?
they want the bone in it. If
Could
you're
I-
gonna get
could-
it.
Oh yeah, I didn't say we get them chicken nuggets.
Boning or traditional, man?
No,
Are we
y'all
serious?
want flats or drums. That's the only question.
Yeah.
Ranch or blue cheese, lemon pepper or buffalo.
Why we on the flats or drum?
Oh, flats.
I'm about to say,
no,
Kevin.
straight up one bite,
Oh,
right?
drums all the time.
Kevin, what the hell? Your opinion doesn't matter because you don't like.
Oh, drums. That's literally.
Your opinion doesn't matter though, because you don't like wings. No,
So
Ben,
100%.
one bite on the flats though, and like insert.
I know.
pull it out clean.
I do. I mean, I've seen people do the twist and the put. No,
No. I'm just like put it.
Yeah,
I
put it in
take
my
it,
mouth
put
and I
it
pull
on,
it.
and it comes out clean.
I
Comes
put it
out
on
clean.
Yeah, it comes out clean. Yes. I'm just saying.
Make eye contact with Kevin while you do it too.
I don't like eat. You ever ate wings with people though? Like, they don't really know how to eat when they think, because I bit it a couple times. I said, do you see all that meat still on that man?
Oh yeah, no, those are
Suck the bone,
we
man.
call those weak people.
Weak-minded.
They would not survive the
I ate
apocalypse.
some wings from more weak-minded people today. Why? Got all this beat.
You gotta
still
get in there.
left on the bone.
There should-
Christian's
can't
out
be-
here playing the Squid Game with
No,
chicken
it
wings.
is.
There can't be
So-
one. Have you ever seen Squid Game? Because that has like zero.
No, I'm saying it's like, hey, you don't finish that.
Oh,
It's like
I'm not offing people.
you said they're weak. They
But-
must be eliminated.
No, just their weakness will eliminate themselves. Darwinism, but there can't be any ligaments left on that bone. And
That's
then
take 3,
And then
I
you
think.
take the bone and you make some bone broth out of it.
Yeah, that's take 3 or take 15 if you are counting wings.
Eli, Rhett, hit me up. I got some wings for you.
Oh, Amy already put in their order for him.
All right.
I got another one. We're good.
All right.
Y'all need some wings? You
Mild
let me know.
order, mild for the older one.
Okay.
No sauce, straight up. I don't know why he doesn't do sauce.
All right.
Because he's a little weird.
Damn.
Just saying. I can
know-
talk about my own children like that. Ben knows. Like,
Of
look.
course.
Now you call him weird. We're
There
going to
it
go
is,
out
there
and
it
step
is.
outside.
Listen, I'm just
Exactly.
going to make this comparison. Your kids are Matt Stafford. Yep. You're the Detroit Lions. I'm the Rams, guys.
Exactly.
They're trying to get over to the Rams so they can win the Super Bowl.
That's right.
Take 3. We're coming back. Chris Candy will join us in about 15 minutes. Good to have you back here on this Thursday, here on 3 and Out. Appreciate Chris Canty joining us here on the program. Super Bowl winning defensive end with the Giants, now with ESPN Radio. And again, appreciate him joining us here on the show. And we talked about a number of these matchups with him and on the show, Ben as well. One we haven't talked about, Sean McVay against Zach Taylor. Sean McVay obviously was the greatest thing since sliced bread a couple years ago when he took the Rams to the Super Bowl, and then they scored 3 points in the Super Bowl. Now you go to Cincinnati, and if you say Zach Taylor to people, Ben, people will be like, didn't he play linebacker for the Dolphins? No, that was Zach Thomas and Jason Taylor. Zach Taylor is the head coach of the Bengals, and a relatively unknown, I would say unknown. I mean, he's one of 32 head coaches, but by and large, I think if you went up to most people and just said, Zach Taylor, NFL, where's the most people be like, no, he's the head coach of the Bengals. How do you think their rep changes? I mean, if Zach Taylor gets a Super Bowl ring, does he instantly become one of the league's best coaches? Or is he like, yeah, you coach a team with a lot of talent that won the Super Bowl? How do you think that changes for either one of these guys if they win the Super Bowl?
I think Sean McVay needs to win the Super Bowl because it validates him being that young offensive guru. I think that's the big reason why he got hired, Kevin. I mean, with his, being young, being one of the youngest coaches ever become a head coach, being that offensive, being that offensive guru with a lot of these teams tend to go with, they usually either go with the offensive mind, defensive mind. Zach Taylor would be more kind of like a Doug Peterson, because when Doug Peterson, when he got hired, I think he came from high school. I think when he got the head coach's job with the Philadelphia Eagles, and I think the difference with a Zach Taylor and a Sean McVay, Zach Taylor, as you mentioned, came out of nowhere. Like he did not have a winning record until this year. Was able to put it all together, and it's more to me. It's who you do it with, not just that you do it. I mean, doing it with Cincinnati, that's the Cincinnati Bengals. Out of every team in the National Football League, got a chance to win the Super Bowl. Who was their coach? Who was their quarterback, and so on and so forth. So I do think Zach Taylor is because. Sean McVay has proved to say, hey, man, I got staying power. I did it with Jared Goff. We almost scored 3 points, but now I'm back. Matthew Stafford. No Robert Woods, but you add Cooper Kupp because Robert Woods played in last week. He's hurt. Now you get Cooper Kupp. But I do think if Zach Taylor does it, people are going to start reevaluating how they start looking at coaching hires because they're going to start saying, well, do I want a young offensive mind or do I want a guy that understands today's athletes coming into the league out of college? Can you get the best out of these guys really, really early? And I know sometimes, Kevin, sometimes guys peak early, like extremely early. Hey, man, we went to the Super Bowl in our second year, Jamar Chase first year. Did you go back? So I do think that Zach Taylor is the more curious case because Sean McVay has been doing it. We'll see.
That's the reason I asked that because when Andy Reid got one with Kansas City, that was the validator. Like, hey, we already knew you were a great coach and you got it. Pete Carroll, great coach. You got. I'm trying to think of an example of a guy that went to the Super Bowl and won it where people weren't like, yeah, this kind of makes sense. This is kind of weird to have a guy second year get there and you're saying, with that instantly, I mean, he would be one of a handful of guys active to have a Super Bowl win to their resume. Does that mean he's among the league's best coaches automatically simply because you have that Super Bowl? And I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm just asking the question because we've never really seen a guy just kind of pop on the scene and all of a sudden Cincinnati's here like, They won a playoff game for the first time in 30 years, and now they're in the Super Bowl. Like, yeah, they have great players, but does that, in your mind, put Zach Taylor up there amongst the league's best coaches?
Yes, it has to, because he's doing something that most coaches can't even fathom. Most coaches that are even good coaches, they make the playoffs. They're not going to play in the conference championship game. They're definitely not going to a Super Bowl. But yes, it has to because you look at. I keep using Doug Peterson. Doug Peterson's back as the head coach now, new head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're giving him a young quarterback, obviously, and Trevor Lawrence. Can he do for a Jaguars franchise? Essentially what he do for Philadelphia Eagles. Now, even though Philadelphia Eagles was very, very storied, they had to get over that hump of winning that Super Bowl. Didn't do it with Jaws. Didn't do it, obviously, with Donovan McNabb. Didn't do it with Carson Wentz. Did it with Nick Foles, even though Carson Wentz was the start of that season. I think it's going to change the way in which they look at coaching now, Kevin. If it is Cincinnati, you're going to start saying, look, do we give these young upstarts an opportunity? I think because the thing about it is, I think Sean McVay is kind of in a situation, when I say the Rams are storied, I just mean throughout like history. Obviously, they won the Super Bowl when they were in the St. Louis Rams, not the LA Rams, even though they started off at LA, went to St. Louis, went back to LA, went back to St. Louis, now they're back. I think that Sean McVay is in more of a situation like a Mike Tomlin, because if you do it, they expect you to kind of, because Kevin, we don't see no 10, 15-year coaches anymore. Now, I'm not saying the Rams or a historic franchise like the Pittsburgh Steelers. I know I'm sitting right here in front of our own PJ Zuko. Like, I'm just saying Cincinnati is a slot filler in the NFL. They're not the storied franchise, in my opinion. The Rams have more of a storied franchise, even if they ain't got the longevity of winning championships. So Sean McVay is to say, hey, man, we want to stick with a certain type of coach. Or Zach Taylor could be like, look, man, you give me some players through the draft, you give me a couple of years, and maybe we can get you there. Because I think Joe Burrow got a shot to be one of the faces of the league if he wins it. And just like Ben Roethlisberger went to an AFC championship his rookie year, lost to the Broncos, came back the next year, won the Super Bowl for Jerome Bettis in his hometown of Detroit. So I just think that it is a totally different, because one guy's like, you won't know, like Sean McVay being in Los Angeles kind of makes it so that he can go out there and coach, because he doesn't have the stress everybody else. Like, he's in LA. No one really knows him like that. Like, it ain't the Lakers. It ain't, the Dodgers. It ain't the Angels.
There's two teams in
exactly.
LA for the NFL.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think with Sean McVay, I think with Cincinnati, what else do they have? Like, I know they got the Reds and different things. I know they got, the Bearcats who made it to the college football playoff this year. But Zach Taylor represents when you giving game balls to local businesses, like, that's how much it means, to Cincinnati, to the city of Cincinnati. So for me, Zach Taylor is the one, Kevin, who needs it. And the NFL ain't gonna say this. The NFL wants it to be Cincinnati because they got an upstart coach with a younger player in Joe Burrow. We'll see what happens, but I do think Zach Taylor has more on the line because, well, they won their first road playoff game in the history of the team this year, and that prepared them to the Super Bowl. So I think Zach Taylor got a little bit more on the line.
Gonna be, like I said, I'm just interested to see how that narrative changes if he comes out as a Super Bowl champion. We've got more to come here, 3 and Out, all across the Southern Pigskin Radio Network. Good to have you along here, 3 and Out on this Thursday. Kevin Thomas, Ben Troop, glad you're making us a part of your day. Coming up in the final hour, we'll hear from Arnold Harrison, former Georgia Bulldog, Super Bowl champion with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He'll join us. Of course, today's the NBA trade deadline. Been a wild day. Ben, haven't seen the Hawks make any moves. A lot of rumor, a lot of smoke that thought maybe they would. They have, just was looking again, haven't seen them make any moves there at the trade deadline. We'll get to some of that coming up in the final hour of the program. In Major League Baseball, saying, hey, our next proposal coming up on Saturday to the players when we meet. We feel good about it. Should you feel good about it? We'll get to that coming up in just a little bit as well.
Well, Kevin, I mean, listen, a lot to talk to. I mean, a lot to talk about. I mean, yeah, the NBA used the trade deadline as a means to go out there and get it done. And the worst commissioner of all commissioners had to make an appearance today.
Yeah, he talked to the owners. We'll get to that final hour. Good to have you here, 3 and Out on this Thursday. Kevin Thomas, Ben Troop. We will hear from Arnold Harrison here in the final hour of the program, former Georgia Bulldog and Super Bowl champion with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He'll join us. We'll talk Super Bowl with him. Also, the NBA trade deadline taking place a little bit earlier today. We'll hit the very latest with that. But Rob Manfred made an appearance today. Ben, talking on behalf of Major League Baseball and the owners. He said, look, we're going to have a proposal coming up on Saturday. We're set to meet with the Players Association. We think it's a good deal. Surprise, surprise. And I guess the players will think their deal's a good deal too. So we think it's a good deal. We've conceded and agreed to a universal DH. We've agreed to removing the draft pick compensation. If a guy signs with another team, you don't get draft compensation for allowing a good player, or I say allowing, or having a good player sign with another team. And they're expected to do this on Saturday. Rob Manfred said, I'm not worried about the season starting on time. I believe we're in good place and we have a good deal, i.e. setting the stage for when they reject it. What? Now we're not playing because of y'all. No, it's us that are locking the players out, but don't let that distract you. They didn't agree to it. Never mind that as a lot of people said, you lock the players out. You could just as easily say, start spring training. We're going to continue to negotiate and we'll just work under the old rules until we get an agreement, which is apparently perfectly legal to do. We can just say, remember that agreement we had in 2021? Here's a piece of paper. We're going to continue that while we negotiate and baseball continues. You could very well do that, but nope. Rob Manfred saying, hey, we got a good deal. We're excited about Saturday, which of course you would expect him to say going into it. It seems like, Ben, you've been around as leagues negotiate. How much when you see Roger Goodell or Rob Manfred or even the players union make a statement, how much do you put into public statements that are put out there in terms of a deal? Or is it simply, look, I'm trying to frame the issue so that I look like I'm trying. Mm-hmm. We put forth a good deal, and the other side said no, and they're the bad guys. And I say that for the player side as well. Now, are most people going to side with the players? I think in this case, likely they will. Usually at some point, people side with the owner and say, players, you want to play, but you're not playing. And I think it eventually turns that way, which a lot of people go, why are you siding with the billionaire owners? But I think in this case, people are looking at the players saying, look, they're making some good things available. Like we want more money for the veteran mid-level guys, which is something I think the NFL was smart. Why are we paying rookies as the highest paid guy in the league? Who was it? The quarterback out of Oklahoma. Now I'm drawing a blank.
Caleb Williams.
No, a couple of years ago, Sam.
Out of
Oklahoma. He won the Heisman Trophy.
Sam Bradford
comes out. He's the highest paid. I think at that time he was the highest paid quarterback in the league. It's like, you have thrown 0 passes and you're the highest paid guy in the league. That makes no sense. And I think the NFL came back and said, look, we're not paying rookies more than guys who've been doing it for 5 years. Well, that's common sense. And I think if you're an MLB player, you're saying, look, why are we giving mega contracts and rookie deals, but the guys in the middle who are kind of your, as you've always said, the meat and potatoes of the league, carving out a living, why is their salary going down? Let's fix that. Seems perfectly reasonable. So it always seems like, Ben, whenever you see people coming out and make public statements, it's always, we're going to try to frame this. So, hey, we're putting forth we're excited about it. We think it's going to be a good deal on Saturday. Not worried about the season not starting on time. And what does that automatically do? Well, the owner said they had a deal. Why didn't you sign it? They said they had a good deal. So I think whenever I hear public statements from either side, I always take it with a grain of salt that they're simply trying to say, they're going to say no potentially, but we're going to make it look like we had a good deal. They're the ones that are doing it, not us.
Rob Manfred is saying what you have to say, Kevin. I think sometimes when we are watching things as just a casual onlooker or a lover of the game, but just consumers of the game, negotiates that's the business part of any league. And I think, and look, Rob Manfred, the two things could be true at the same time. It could be a good deal. It might not be a good deal for the players. It could be a good deal for the owners, obviously, because that's what they're willing to go out there and do. But when you start thinking about what negotiations are, it's bigger than just the mid-tier players getting a little bit more. You're talking about a lot of things that has to go into these deals. But these are the things that like kind of push it. Rob Manfred, if he walks out, something bad has happened. Because he's the one commissioner, right? I mean, obviously I don't watch MLB.com, but I don't see him that much. He's like a solar eclipse, man. You don't see him that much, and when you do, something dark is about to happen. Now, I will give him credit. Kevin, I mean, obviously he has to meet with the owner. So he has to deal with these faceless people. The people that, we don't know how Liberty Mutual looks. He does. He knows how these people look. And he has to go out there on behalf and say, look, this is what we want to do. These are the same owners that did not want to meet with the players. They want to do arbitration. They did not want to meet with them. They wanted a third party to decide. No. So I do think that when you think about what's at stake, look, when we're talking about MLB, we're never talking about the players you know. There go Mike Trout. There go Harper. There go Mookie Betts, right? There go Matt Scherzer. No, it's, hey, Matt, who you standing next to? Who is that? That's who you negotiate on behalf of, and that's most leagues.
Yeah.
I know who LeBron is. I know who AD is. I don't know who the 15th man on the roster is. So when you start talking about the guys who don't do commercials, the guys who haven't had enough money 10 years ago to live off for the rest of their life, we're talking about guys, who's still making good money in the league. And I'm not mad at them. Get your money. Every team got to have a face of each team as well as like face of franchises, faces of baseball. I get it. But every time it's time to negotiate, the owners aren't talking to the faces of baseball. They're talking to the guys that make up the other, 20 of the 25 guys on the roster. So I listen, Rob Manfred, if you ever need to be motivated, do not look for Rob Manfred to motivate you. He's not going to be the one to do it. But at the same time, it's only one of him. It's only one Rob Manfred. He has to go out there and say, look, now I don't agree with the nonsense he said about like not owning a freaking team. I think, to me, Kevin, that's when he's trying to go. Like, I'm pretty sure they talked to him. This is what we want you to say. This is what they're gonna ask you. They didn't tell him to say that.
Yeah.
Like, no one said, dude, if you own a MLB franchise, what's the word I'm looking for? You're winning. Like, in life.
Yeah.
Like, regardless, you got so many employees that you don't even know how many checks go out a freaking month. But I do, what makes me nervous is you didn't have a deal. You wanted to go to arbitration. Now you got a deal coming this weekend. It's probably not going to be something the players, necessarily want to agree with. But I think the closer the season is here, the players they don't have any leverage, man, because even though I keep talking about the face of baseball, they don't want to lose no money. No, like Mike Trout, like, dude, we already did a pandemic. All right, well, do you want to go through that again? You want to deal with it? And I'm pretty sure they're still trying to find a way to put that type of language in. So we'll see, Kevin. But I just think that it's probably not going to start on time here. I mean, this notion that we only need 4 weeks. No, you don't need anything.
Yeah.
But I just think that, Rob Manfred is in a tough spot, man, because you got to satisfy those 30 owners, but you also got to look like you on there. Like, it's like he's trying to serve both. Listen, I work for the owners, but I'm trying to speak for the players. But the players got the Players Association, and we wanted to go to arbitration, all these different things. And I got to come on TV and try to answer these questions, try to improvise. That's a lot of info in a 30-minute, 45-minute press conference. But we'll see what happens. I think that's why we watch. But I do think that if you are a fan, trust me, this is the part of sports that you're not supposed to like. But this is the business part. This is when these owners dominate players, because owners, they negotiating stuff all the freaking time. Like, this is just one of many things they negotiate, right? This is what they do all the time. But we'll see what happens. But Rob Manfred, like I said, the solar eclipse showed his face today, and you see why they try to keep him. They try to keep him. He is the Wizard of Oz. They try to keep him behind the curtain.
Yeah, and I look at some of the things that were talked about. He's like, hey, we have agreed to universal DH. Well, I think a lot of people said, well, that's an easy one. That's an easy one. That's one that I think most everybody knew was going to happen. Like, when it comes to the next CBA, there's going to be universal DH. So don't come out here and like, oh, we made a big concession. I think that was an easy one. But as you said, Ben, I think when you're trying to make the case for why your deal is good, and you come out, and again, Rob Manfred, if you don't know what Ben's talking about, Rob Manfred in his press conference said, well, I think historically speaking, owning a baseball franchise has not been as profitable as, say, just putting your money in the stock market. And you're going, what? Like if you're George Steinbrenner, rest his soul, but when he bought the Yankees, pretty sure at the end of his life, the Yankees were worth more than when he bought them. And I know you could say, well, the stock market,
I'm talking about probably 3 times more.
So the guys at Best Stock Market say, hey, if you get 4, 5, 6, 7%, you're doing good. No, the Yankees were worth like 10 to 15 times what George Steinbrenner paid for him, not to mention the money he was making all those years while owning the team. It is a profitable venture. Baseball is a healthy sport. And despite what people say about it, there's interest here. Is it what it once was? No, but I think, again, the commissioner has not done a good job of helping to grow that. But it is a healthy financial sport. People are making money. So to come out and say owning a team is you'd be better off putting your money in the stock market. Like, that's blatantly stupid and not true. Like, it's just like nobody is buying that. So why are you saying that? I just don't, I can't think of another commissioner that would come out and make the case our product isn't good. I don't even know why you'd want to own a team. I know he didn't say it in so many words, but when you have a guy who is representing the league coming out saying it's more profitable to go put your money in the stock market, they're not out here owning teams for charity. Right? I mean, they're not out here by some kind of goodwill campaign.
Charity and owning teams don't even.
Right?
Man.
We're not out here just to create goodwill and make ourselves feel good. No, Liberty Media owns the Braves for one reason: to make money. The end.
I mean,
that's it. That it's a piece of their portfolio.
Yes.
That's why they're doing it.
Yes.
If there was a way they looked at it and said, you know what? If we took the money out of the Atlanta Braves and put it over here and we make 8% with the Braves and we make 10% over there, guess what? They're going to put it in the 10% thing. It's business. And so to say that the teams, it's not as profitable as you think it is to own a baseball team is not true. Like, I don't know why you would downplay your sport. It makes your sport look bad. Like, woe is us, man. Like, who would want to own a baseball team? It's just a succubus of money. Come on, that's not true. So
and the whole thing about it is, Kevin, too. I mean, that's what I mean about Rob, man. It's almost like he can't just answer the question. Listen, Rob, we get it. You're gonna have to answer questions that are uncomfortable, but don't say nonsensical things. Yeah. I know I talked earlier about if we all hit the lottery, me, you, PJ, Christian, BJ, we all want to own something, right? We don't even got to own it. If somebody go, hey man, I own 10% of the Braves. What do you mean? I just own 10%. Meaning I'm still an owner. I don't necessarily got any decision-making power, but every time the Braves make any dollars, I get my portion of it. Yeah. And I think, but then how many people can say, hey man, what do you do, man? I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, I do radio. I know I own the Braves. Like, what do you mean? Like the Braves, like the hat I got on, I own them. And people start saying it's not profitable. If it's, how it's
you're
profitable?
Not giving somebody
exactly. It's only 30 of them. It's only 30 owners in the MLB in the world. So I don't. I mean, like I said, Rob walks off, and whoever his PR guy is, manager, agent, said, "Dude, like, what?
That's a hard sell, Rob.
It's hard, super hard sell."
But so they're again confident going into the weekend. I'll be interested to see. I think the public concessions that he put out there were ones that were probably going to happen anyway. It's like, well, we're going to do it anyway. Now I'm going to make a big show out of me making a concession. Like, you were going to do that anyway. You were going to do that anyway.
Yes.
So I wonder what Saturday brings. I think for baseball fans, you'd love to have a deal because, again, pitchers and catchers usually report sometime like Tuesday, Wednesday next week and start getting loosened up more. If that gets missed, not as big of a deal, but I don't think you want to start getting to mid-March. Like, hey, we're going to start cranking up mid-March and we're just going to push the season back into mid-April. No. To me, in today's day and age where you are fighting for entertainment dollars and people's attention, don't not be there, right? I mean, the NFL has done a tremendous job of this, and they're the most popular sport. But why, as Ben said, why is the draft 3 days? Because for 3 or 4 days, they're in the news. When normally it's like, these are dudes nothing is happening. Mm-hmm. Hey, we want Ben Troop to be on our team. Did he sign a contract? No, well, no, that doesn't happen for a little bit. Is he officially on team? Well, we got to do a physical, and then we got to get into rookie minicamp. So that has become a huge event. NFL does that more. It does it better than anybody. Hey, mini camps are starting. We got to talk about it. Well, what's a mini camp? Dudes running around in shorts, learning plays. But that's become a news.
The accessibility is
yeah. But if you're Major League Baseball and the only thing anybody's talking about is you're not playing, and we'll update you tomorrow, that's not keeping you relevant when you're especially in season. So to me, for both sides, there should be a big impetus to say, listen, in the social media age, in the age of 100 different things that people can sink their time and money and attention into, don't allow them to go do something else when they could be interested in your sport. And there's a lot of people that want to be involved with your sport, but they can't be involved if you're not there. And so I think after, as you said, Ben, after the pandemic year, where many people were like, look, man, I get it. Y'all are trying to work out high dollar financial stuff of, we want to get paid for 70 games. No, we're only going to pay you for 60 games. Are there going to be fans there? That's not complicated stuff that can be solved or simple something you solve in 5 minutes. But at the same time, people are like, just go play. Like, we've been in the house. There's nothing going on. Just go out there and do it and quit squabbling over this thing and put a product on the field for people to get involved with.
Yep.
And what did you see? Pandemic over.
Yep.
You get into 2021, epic season. I think the Braves had record attendance. You look at the financials going into this offseason, everybody said, boy, this could be a fun MLB offseason. Teams are flush with cash after the pandemic year and after 2021. They had a great financial year. They were awash with cash. Could be a wild offseason. And what did you see before the lockout started? Dudes were getting $50 million deals, $40 million deals. Don't tell me there's no money in baseball and you're handing out $50 million deals. Like, there's a lot of things to be excited about with baseball, but you got to play.
Yep.
You got to be active. You can't be, well, we're back to the negotiating table. No, nobody cares about that.
Exactly.
I mean, they do, but nobody cares
well, no,
about that.
no, they don't. And you right. I think sometimes too, people say, oh, well, being, no, just because I was a part of these meetings, man, look, I was a football player. That's what I did. When it came to negotiations, I had an agent. Why? Because I didn't understand contracts. I want to put myself, people always say, man, what do you do in life the best? I tend to bend towards my strengths. It's a weakness when you're sitting at a table with people that wear, like, listen, man, if my daily attire is a suit, that's what I wear every day. No, I wear a suit on game day when I'm headed to a game because I'm a professional. I think what's happening is too often at times you say to yourself, dude, don't let this thing run out. Why? Because we're going to get exposed as players. Like, we're going to get exposed because these owners are going, dude, we know Mike Trout, not because he's Mike Trout, because he's in the MLB, because the Angels got him. We would have never known him. We know who Bryce Harper is. Why? Because it's in the MLB. So don't think they don't use that stuff. Like, it's half you. I get it. You can hit the baseball, you want the best. But it's half because of what we've done for you with the money that we give you. So I just think that when you go to, listen, that's like this. Look, do you want to take it? Listen, if you go to court, you don't want the person you're taking to court is a lawyer. Because you're going to have a double negative going on. So I just think in this situation, they did themselves a disservice because they don't want the thing to run it and say, hey, man, we've been able to come to a deal before this other one ran out. Because you don't believe me? The NFL is the best it's the best sport in the world, or in America. They signed a 10-year CPA. So if you don't think those owners got over on those players, you signed them how long? 10 years. That's almost longer than freaking Patrick Mahomes extension with the freaking Kansas City Chiefs. So I'm just telling you, stay away from negotiating tables with billionaires because they know what they're doing. Oh, yeah. I'm just saying.
We've got more to come here. 3 and out. Arnold Harrison will join us, former Georgia Bulldog and Super Bowl champion with the Pittsburgh Steelers, in about 15 minutes. But big day at the trade deadline in the NBA. We'll hit that next year. 3 and out. Southern Pigskin Radio Network. Great to be here with you on this Thursday. Kevin Thomas, Ben Troop. We'll chat with Arnold Harrison, former Georgia Bulldog, Super Bowl champion with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He'll join us coming up in just a little bit. Trade deadline today, Ben, in the NBA. Hawks didn't do anything. There was a lot of smoke, a lot of talk that maybe the Hawks would do something. They didn't. But James Harden to the 76ers for Ben Simmons, 2 first-round draft picks. That was one of the big moves, or the biggest move, certainly, of the day at the trade deadline, as the NBA starting to shake things up here for the home stretch.
Ben Simmons is the player, Kevin, that nobody wants to give up on, right? I mean, former number 1 overall pick coming out of LSU that didn't take his team to the NCAA tournament, by the way, and still can't shoot. But people, great defender. Obviously did not want to play anymore for the 76ers. Made it known I do not want to play basketball. He said it's not anything mental or anything. I just do not want to play. James Harden made it known I want out of Brooklyn. And I think since him, KD, and Kyrie Irving teamed up together, they've only been on the court at the same time for 16 games. Think about that. And James Harden is one of those guys. He's chasing legacy now. He wants to be able to say, look, put me with a superstar like Joel Embiid. I can go up there and hopefully try to compete, for an NBA title. But it did send shockwaves. Ben Simmons, I think Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Paul Millsap actually goes to the 76 mile. I didn't even know he was still in the NBA since he left the Hawks. But I just think that sometimes, Kevin, when I think about the NBA, the trade deadline is that's like their, because the NBA draft is lackluster. It's all about what LeBron is doing or what Giannis is doing. How do they make their money? Trade deadlines. And how they do it is they do all these kind of okay trades. And it's Woj, here it is. Blockbuster trade. Now, people say, oh my God, Kyrie Irving, KD, and Ben Simmons together. You know who else plays in Brooklyn and no one cares? That would be Blake Griffin. No one cares because they barely even play him. I get it and I don't get it, Kevin, when it comes to Ben Simmons, because this notion of potential. Well, Ben Simmons been in the league about 5-6 years, right? And we've been talking about this. First, it was the process. Then it was, he's learning how to shoot in the offseason. Then it's, Doc Rivers saying, hey, man, we can't win with him. He's very, very sensitive, which people go, man, you got to watch how you talk about players. No, you don't. No, you don't. Because just imagine what Doc had to deal with the fact that I got Joel Embiid and I got Ben Simmons and we losing. How about that? So Ben Simmons gets to go to Brooklyn. Now, this is what I'm saying, though. If he can't handle what Doc Rivers saying, Doc Rivers is, Hall of Fame coach, one of the best coaches ever. Can he handle what Steve Nash going to say? Do we respect? Steve Nash is the same Steve Nash that Kyrie Irving said, we don't really need a coach. Well, Kyrie, you don't even play, you don't even play, at home or whatever. You can't even play in California on the road. So we'll see. But Ben Simmons says he wanted out. He got out. James Harden said he wanted out. He got out. And Porzingis, originally, who was with the Mavs, he got traded to the Washington Wizards. I don't think they haven't changed their name, I don't think, at this point yet. But Kevin, like I say, it's the NBA trade deadline. Ben Simmons got what he wanted. James, I think PJ had me laughing. They said James Harden was getting ready to put on his fat suit. The suit he used to wear when he was in Houston. It was like, no. You don't got to put it on, man. You go out to Philadelphia, man. Like, for real, take that fat suit off, man. So now a couple of guys got what they wanted. We'll see if it leads to anything. But Ben Simmons, you get to go from Philadelphia, the city of brother love, to where Brooklyn at. Probably gonna end up being where the hell Ben Simmons at if he don't want to suit up. Yeah. But only time will tell.
And that was funny. You were like, I don't think the Wizards have changed their name. I only share this because it was funny because Ben and I were talking to the office yesterday, and I had just a little moment, and you were like, Ben read something. I was like, the Washington Commanders have, and I told Ben, I said, I almost had a moment where I said, who are the Washington Commanders? Is that the new USFL team? And I was like, oh wait, that's right. That's I was like, who is that? But just for a second, the Commanders. Go Commanders. Commies.
I will say.
I just said no. That's what people have said. Like, we could be go commies. Like, that's come up with a better.
Exactly. Look, we were talking about these owners. With MLB. Look, Dan Snyder said, y'all gonna make me change my name. I'm not gonna give y'all what y'all want. I'm gonna give y'all something real cheesy, and y'all. I hope, but let's go Commanders. 1, 2, 3, go Commanders. That just sounds like some old. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. These marketing team, the same. I'm gonna say it again. The same marketing team that came up with the Atlanta Braves mascot has something to do with the Commanders. I don't care what no one says. Because when the Braves, introduced that mascot, Kevin, we was all like, what is that? Like that look, some people say he looked like a thumb. Some people say he looks like a Nutter Butter with arms and legs. Either way, it's a bad decision. And now, because the Braves just won, he get more appearances. So he's making money hand over fist. Like, yeah, man.
Does he have fists or just?
I don't know what the hell he had, but if I ever catch him, I'm gonna dive on him. But nah, man. I mean, but hey, shout out to Ben Simmons, shout out to James Harden. I mean, they get to go. They both got out. Didn't have to get ugly in all season because. And Kevin, like you always say with the Braves, whenever you got a tradable piece, use them while they are tradable, while they got some value. You was able to get, you was able to trade to get a first round in here with, this, that, and the third. Trade those. When superstars tell you they don't want to be there anymore, get rid of them because it kills your franchise if you keep them around. They bring down the whole morale of the franchise. So for me, hey man, Ben Simmons, you get to go to Brooklyn. James Harden, you get to go to Philly. Joel Embiid, hey man, I don't know if it's gonna help, but at least you got a player that actually wants to play because Ben Simmons was making a lot of money to sit at the house every day.
Yeah, so again, we'll see how this affects the NBA if it works out there in Brooklyn with this latest trade. But we've got more to come. Arnold Harrison gonna join us talking Super Bowl. He won 2 of them. He knows a little bit about that. We'll talk with him about it when we come back here. 3 and Out, Southern Pigskin Radio Network. Great to be here. Kevin BJ is not here. Ben is here. I don't know why. I'm just getting that rhythm. And Kevin Thomas, Ben Troop, glad to have you along here on this Thursday Super Bowl upcoming. On Sunday with the Rams and the Bengals. And joining us here on the program, he's got 2 Super Bowl rings with the Pittsburgh Steelers out of the University of Georgia. Joining us here on the program, Arnold Harrison stepping in here on 3 and Out. Arnold, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, how y'all doing?
Doing fantastic. Now, the Rams have been here. Matthew Stafford hasn't. The Bengals obviously haven't come close to this in a long, long time. What is the lead up to the Super Bowl like as a player? I guess describe it from your first time to having to do it a second time, and what was the difference in getting ready for it each time?
Well, I can tell you firsthand, everybody understands the ramifications of this game because you spend your whole life thinking about playing in the Super Bowl for sure. I can tell you the first go round, I was a rookie. I mean, you really don't know how to move as a professional, period, as a rookie. And, the Super Bowl environment is kind of crazy. Realistically, you just kind of like lean on the vets. We had nobody on our team that had ever been to the Super Bowl my first year, and we kind of just were playing to try to get in, So it's you got media day, you got practice, you got all of the events that are going on around the city. So I think that Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, you might let your guys, be a little loose, make sure their families and everybody make it into town. That's the kind of the hard part is making sure that you get all of your family and everybody situated. But, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, if you're smart, you get yourself back into your weekly routine and back focus on game time.
Arnold, man, you guys had some like big time vets on the team. I mean, James Harrison, Jerome Bettis, Troy Polamalu, the list goes on and on. You talk about Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday kind of being loose. Who was that veteran on the team that said, all right, fellas, y'all know what we here to do. Let's hone in so we can make sure we ain't on the losing end of this thing?
Well, I can tell you right now, we had some internal motivation. My first Super Bowl was in Detroit, right? So it's not like it was a big party city anyway. And Jerome Bettis was the leader of the team at the time. And, he came back for one last season, hopefully that we would, get him a chance to win a ring because he had never had much, success in the playoffs. And we all kind of rallied around that cheer. I mean, we literally had dinner at his parents' house in Detroit, like the night or the day, 2 days before the game. So, it kind of was, he, of course, because we were playing for him, that we rallied around that. We also had James Ferrier, who was an amazing, and I tell people this, he was literally like an amazing leader on the team. So he would always kind of keep us rallied. And believe it or not, one of our pregame rituals was that we played cards. We late into the night. We did that every game. And, of course, the Super Bowl is at night. So it kind of made everybody kind of stay up a little late, but we slept pretty much all day till walkthroughs, and then we slept all the way up until game time. So, it kind of worked out for us.
Arnold Harrison joining us here on 3-9. You mentioned about getting there one to win. What about a guy like Matt Stafford? Obviously, he was in Detroit for a long time. Not a lot to get excited about in terms of the postseason, but now he's with the Rams on a team that's gotten here. I know he doesn't have the long history with the Rams, but how bad do you think they want to win for him, a guy that's been in the league and has barely sniffed the playoffs, much less getting to this stage?
I couldn't imagine. I mean, I really feel like the Rams, fully as an organization, have done an amazing job kind of putting some talent together really quickly and feeling like they had some core people. They've had injuries. They've had things that they had to overcome. I mean, what they've done, resurrecting OBJ's career, has been amazing. You got, losing somebody that was a stalwart for you like Robert Woods, who was a third down maven, was hard. But then when you find a way to kind of recreate yourself and recreate your offense in the middle of the year and get him going, that's great. Love what they're doing with Cam Akers, who I feel like is a true talent. Mixing in Sony Michel, picking them up mid-season. Von Miller to close out games. I mean, they literally have that roster is not even recognizable in comparison to what it was day one, but they did what they needed to try to get the pieces together.
How do you guys go about making sure that everybody is important? I'm not saying that nobody's less important throughout the course of the year, but you just don't know. I mean, you're talking about a Super Bowl. It could be on special teams. I mean, it could be a pick. It could be a big block. It could be a tackle. How did everybody make sure to look, man? We understand who the headliners are, but everybody got to be ready to make that play if it does indeed appear show itself.
Well, I can tell you right now, when you have the right leadership in the locker room, we did. We had some great guys in the locker room, the Aaron Smiths, not just the big names like the Joey Porters of the world and the Ben Roethlisbergers, because he was young. We were all young, and that's kind of the piece. While we spend a lot of time talking about the Rams, I see some of those traits in the Bengals. You see young leadership, right? You got your best offensive players are second year and third year players. I mean, you got a running back who nobody's even talking about. He's probably the best player on either team for the Bengals. So, when you look at that team, starvation will create, necessity, right? And these guys have been starving for a long time, trying to figure out how to get past the Steelers and the Ravens just to make the playoffs. And now you let them get into one significant game, then another significant game, then another significant game, and they didn't beat the Kansas City Chiefs twice in the last 4 weeks. They feeling really confident about themselves as well because they don't know any better, right? So I think everybody knows that this game is important from the 53rd man on the roster all the way to the first. So the devil's in the details. Like the coaches, the nerves will be there. Right, and I know this for a fact. Like when you covering that first kickoff, everybody's scared. It's somebody that got to go down there and make a play to kind of settle everybody down. So that's important. We've seen in years past that first kickoff. I think it was the Chicago Bears. Devin Hester ran the first kickoff back in the game against the Indianapolis Colts, and you sitting there thinking, oh, Chicago might have a chance, but then the Colts end up winning the game. And, we've seen that in the past before where people let the first kickoff of the game go for a touchdown.
Arnold Harrison joining us here on 3 and Out. And Arnold, how do you explain Joe Burrow? A season and a half basically in the National Football League, and you just don't see guys like that come in the league, play behind a horrible offensive line in year number 1, and then year 2, he's in the Super Bowl. You just don't see that a lot of times from guys in not even their second full season.
Yeah, that's what makes the NFL different than other sports. I mean, it's the ultimate team sport. It's the ultimate rally sport. And, you look at Joe Burrow and you watch what he did after transferring from Ohio State to LSU and then kind of being a middle-of-the-road guy. And then the next season after some good coaching and some great development of some receivers, because you can't negate, your Justin Jeffersons and your Jamar Chases of the world. They get going, and it's kind of like they may be one of the greatest offenses that we ever seen in college football history. This guy literally has kind of bootstrapped himself into believing in himself, and, he just kind of thinks that he's a winner. So, it's kind of hard to cool off a guy that's so hot, right? He doesn't know that he's not supposed to win. He doesn't know that the Cincinnati Bengals are not supposed to win. So, the great thing about him is that, we had the Tom Brady's in the past that made us believe that anything is possible. And then they kind of like, it's like the only thing that can beat him is retirement, right? So, hopefully that, I'm excited about the future because you got the Joe Burrows and the Justin Herberts and those young guys that are going to carry this game on into the future.
And on how much can he continue to ride that wave? You talk about the fact that when you first, your rookie year, you were already going to the Super Bowl. So to you, that's my normal. Even though it's not normal, that was your normal. Joe Burrow can find a way to go out there and get this super duper. I know it's about Patrick Mahomes. I know it's about the freakish athlete that is Lamar Jackson. How soon can we be talking about, hey man, the Super Bowl in the league, could potentially be coming through Cincinnati?
Hey, I think that the conversation is already getting started. I mean, they really did a good job handling that division. I mean, if you think they beat the mess out of the Steelers 2 times. So that was when I realized that they was legit. They beat Baltimore, if I'm not mistaken, 2 times. So, I mean, you knocked off the first challenge. Then you had to go and play Kansas City, and you beat them to get into the playoffs, clinch the division. Then you went to Kansas City and beat them, where they played in the AFC Championship 4 years in a row at home. So you go into hostile territory and get a win. He's checked every box except for hoisting the Lombardi. So from my standpoint, you can't tell him that he's not supposed to be doing this. I mean, in his mind, he got people who only know winning. Just think about it. The last game that Jamar Chase played in before this season was the national championship. He hasn't lost. He doesn't know. He doesn't know losing. So in his mind, he's supposed to win, right?
Joining us here on 3 and Out. Arnold, before we let you go, had to give you a minute to talk about your Georgia Bulldogs. Speaking of winning the big game, got a national title for the first time since 1980, I think right at a month ago.
Hey, I was in the house in Indianapolis. The environment was electric. Thank you so much for giving me that opportunity. I know Ben and I go all the way back to elementary school, and that is the truth. We were in the same elementary school class years ago, but he was a Florida guy, and I went to Georgia. And I remember one time that they beat us in a game that kept us out of the national championship. So there's been so many different opportunities for us to win it, and to actually see us get the job done was very gratifying.
Now, Arnold, man, I want to know right now, man. I be following you on the gram, man. I be seeing you and the missus and you and the little Arnolds running around. I want to know, man, did that wet stuff come out your eyes, man, when y'all boys won it?
Oh my good. I can tell you this: my 6-year-old son, Arnold III, is we call him Champ, but he is as big a fan of sports as you can find already, and it's kind of scary, Ben. And he was yelling at the TV with my mom because my mom kept him while we were in Indianapolis. And for us to be able to say as a state, just to be honest, as a state, we've been the bridesmaids so many times, so many big games we played in, and including the national championship. I was at it the last time when we lost in overtime. For us to be able to win it the way that we won it, where the first touchdown of the season against Clemson was an interception for a touchdown, and the last touchdown of the season to be an interception for a touchdown, that's kind of, it spoke volumes about the way that we won it. Like we had a misfit quarterback that, just found a way to make plays. We had a compilation of different talent levels, 3-star and 4-star guys that ended up turning into superstars. It just was, and to play on to win it on defense, to have, great linebackers like we had and great D-line, it was the right way. And to beat Alabama, and it was also even more gratifying. I think half the country was cheering for us to beat Alabama because they just tired of seeing them beat us, everybody.
And Arnold, finally, man, when we talk about stories, right? We talk about Joe Burrow and what he did for LSU. You talk about Cam Newton and what he did when he was at Auburn. We talk about Johnny Football. I think all those boys pale in comparison to old Stetson Bennett, man. Did you think it was ever going to be Stetson Bennett? I know, man, you used to go back and forth about the Jake Fromm thing, man, but this thing got Hollywood script written all over it.
There's no question about it. By all means, Stetson Bennett is we should be gracious to him and thankful that, he found a way to just keep moving the ball and keep getting up, right? The mindset, it's almost like watching Rudy in real life. The guy left the school, transferred back, had multiple people that were 5-star guys in front of him, and he just kept trudging along. And I think the coaching staff did a really good job of putting him in position, to make singular throws to win. It doesn't matter how you get it done, it's as long as you get it done. So I'm just, in the words of Kirby, keeping with the theme, you said either you're a leader or you're not. So, for now and forever, we'll always remember that they knocked the top off the ceiling and they got us a championship.
Arnold Harrison, our guest here on 3 and Out. Arnold, really appreciate the time. Thanks so much.
Hey, it was an absolute pleasure, fellas. Hope y'all have a great rest of your year.
We'll do. Arnold Harrison joining us here, 2-time Super Bowl champ there with the Pittsburgh Steelers. We'll come back. Speaking of unbelievable story, the SEC just handing out more cash. We'll talk about that when we get back here on 3 and Out, Southern Pigskin Radio Network. Good to have you here on this Thursday, Ben. Big day in the SEC. Why? Because it's payday. They had people talk about money in college athletics and all of that. And people wonder what's going to happen when Texas and Oklahoma come in and you talk about all this disparity in money and things of that nature. The SEC had their meetings this week and announced today their annual distribution, which is always a big press release to their partners. 14 ways it's getting divvied up so that each school in the SEC going to walk away with $54.6 million each. People want to go, why is that? Why is Vanderbilt in the SEC? $54.6 million. That's why Vanderbilt's in the SEC. Why would they leave? We could be 0-28, and it don't matter. We get that $54 million check at the end of the year, and it's all good.
If you don't think the product in the SEC is getting better, $9 million. That's $9 million more than it used to be, and that's before Texas and Oklahoma.
No, not than it used to be. $9 million more than it was last year. That's ridiculous.
I'm gonna need that cheese.
Yeah,
straight up.
I mean, and then you talk about Texas and Oklahoma coming in. My goodness, going to keep just growing exponentially. We'll see you tomorrow. Got a big Valentine's Day giveaway. Don't miss it. We'll catch you right here, 3 and Out, Southern Pigskin Radio Network.